time, weather, and always class.
Good morning, Blade family, and welcome to the 29th week of school. This is the 29th Fireside Chat. I am still your proud principal, Mr. Holland. We don't have a whole lot of announcements today, but we do have a very important activity at the end of the Fireside Chat, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, just a reminder, as school begins to slowly reopen, I want to remind you to make good choices, and I hope that you made good choices during your time off. Remember, if you're ill or around anyone who's ill or has tested positive for COVID, to quarantine yourself. We're close to the end of this. Please make sure you don't share this with anybody in the Blade family, your own family, your friends, your neighbors. Be very careful so we can get this thing behind us. Continue to use safe practices and wear a mask and socially distance so we can get things back to normal as soon as possible. Few announcements from some different groups around school. First of all, the Blade Booster Club has a couple of announcements. Please support the Blade Band by going to Teriyaki Madness in the Lowe's Shopping Center on April 10th. With any purchase of a regular or large bowl, $1 will be donated to the band. So please make sure that you're supporting them. Also from the Blade Boosters, please make sure you get your Battle of the Blocks t-shirt for the East Highland games. They're only $15. You can pre-order at the access code over my shoulder. So please make sure you're doing that. Now let's move on to other things regarding sports. First of all, indoor sports have much tighter rules than outdoor sports. And what I mean by that is sports like soccer, football, track, where there's open air for the competition, where you're out on grass or out on track and the beautiful spring wind is blowing, the chances of transmitting or sharing COVID are much less. So for sports that are outside, there's a little bit different procedures than those that are inside. For inside sports, and that would be wrestling, volleyball, basketball, please make sure you're reaching out to your coaches and staying on top of what you need to do in order to participate. Coach Rendell specifically has asked girls who are interested in playing basketball to reach out to him by tomorrow to make sure that you understand the testing procedures. In order to try out for the basketball team, you have to be tested for COVID because, again, it's indoors and we want to make sure that we're safe. So please make sure you're communicating with all of our athletic coaches if you're interested in athletics, but very specifically, please make sure you're reaching out to your indoor coaches. That would be Coach Freddie Gonzalez for wrestling. His email is over my shoulder. Be Coach Janita Clemens for volleyball. Her email is over my shoulder. That would be Coach Jared Rendell for basketball for girls. His email is over my shoulder. And that would be Coach James Dominguez for basketball for boys. His email is over my shoulder. And one more quick celebration. Coach Janita Clemens has been recognized for being absolutely amazing. This is her picture over my shoulder. Congratulations, Coach Clemens. We already knew you're amazing. Now the entire county of Kern gets to celebrate with us for your amazingness. Thank you for all you do in the Blade family, Coach Clemens. And finally, last activity. Things are beginning to return to normal. As they do, please make sure you continue to be responsible. We are beginning the process of bringing some students back, and actually some students returned today. If you were one of those students, we reached out to you personally to begin that return process. Starting next week, we're going to bring back seniors who want to return. We surveyed you already as well. Then on the 21st, freshmen who want to return, and on the 28th, sophomores and juniors who want to return. You are not required to return to in-person school. However, if you are returning, we need to know. In fact, we need to know if you don't plan to return as well. Over the weekend, our administrative team sent out an all call to parents to ask families to discuss whether or not you want to return to in-person school. I hope you had those discussions and talked about this with your family to see what was right for you. Either way, we need to know whether you plan to return to school or not. So Mr. Mitz is going to put up a link to a Google form that I need you to fill out to let us know whether you plan to return to school or not. Now, if you're a senior, you've already been surveyed. You don't have to fill out this survey. Also, any student who's already returned to school or has been reached out to by school personnel about returning to school, you don't have to fill out this survey either. So this is only for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors who have not been reached out to yet by school personnel. Please take a moment to fill out the survey to let us know what your plans are with regards to returning to school. There are some questions that we need to make sure you answer, such as an understanding that you have to wear a mask if you're going to be here, that we expect you to socially distance, that at times you may actually have to be in a distance learning lab situation, even though you've returned to school, if your classroom has got too many people in it to have safe class. These are all things to consider, including our one-way hallways, before you decide whether you're going to return. And remember, the schedule will be the same whether you're at distance learning or in person. Thank you for taking the time to fill out the survey. There is no wheel this week. We'll get back to the wheel for next week's Fireside Chat. I hope you all had an amazing and restful break. I love you all. Thank you so much, Blade family, for keeping me a happy principal. I love you guys. Keep being amazing Blades. Go Blades.